so let's get right into it. Inside your body, right now, there's this invisible, super high-stakes balancing act going on every single second. It's this constant dance between water and these crucial minerals we call electrolytes, and honestly, it's the secret sauce that keeps you alive and kicking. You know that feeling when you're super thirsty? Well, it's not just some random, annoying feeling. It's actually the main alarm system of a really sophisticated survival program, one that's been tweaked and perfected over millions of years just to keep your internal machinery running smoothly. So here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with what I like to call the ocean within. Then we'll check out the body's incredible balancing act. After that, we'll meet the two main players, sodium and potassium. And finally, we'll look at what happens when this whole system, goes off the rails. All right, first things first. To really get a grip on this balancing act, you got to understand that at our core, we're basically aquatic beings. Seriously, every single chemical reaction that makes you, happens in water. Just look at that number, 60%. For an adult male, about 60% of your body is just water. It's the stage where everything happens, from you thinking a thought to lifting your arm. And it varies, For women, it's closer to 50%. And for a newborn baby, it's a whopping 75%. So your body is constantly, and I mean constantly, managing this water budget. We're taking water in from drinks, from the food we eat, and our own metabolism even makes a little bit. But at the same time, we're always losing it through urine, the moisture in our breath, sweat, you get the idea. And the whole game is just keeping that budget perfectly balanced. Okay, but here's where it gets really cool. How does our body manage this budget all on its own? It's not like you're consciously thinking about it, right? That's because we have this amazing, self-regulating machine doing all the heavy lifting for us. And the two main onboard computers running this whole show are the feeling of thirst and a hormone called ADH, which stands for antidiuretic hormone. So thirst is the alert system that tells you, hey, go get some water. And ADH is the quiet manager behind the scenes telling your kidneys exactly what to do. This is the feedback loop, and it is just brilliant. As soon as you start to lose a little too much water, your blood gets a tiny bit more concentrated. Boom! That triggers the thirst center in your brain and signals for ADH to be released. So what happens? You feel thirsty and grab a drink, and at the exact same time, ADH is telling your kidneys, hey, hold on to that water, don't let it go. It's a perfect 1-2 punch to get everything back in balance. Now, there is no way we can talk about water balance without bringing up our first key electrolyte, sodium. The easiest way to think about sodium is as the body's main volume controller. Why? Because here's the golden rule. Where sodium goes, water always follows. Sodium's biggest job is managing all the fluid that's outside of our cells. And because it does that, it has direct control over our plasma volume, which in turn directly affects our blood pressure. Oh, and it's also absolutely critical for our nerves to be able to fire off signals. So yeah, it's pretty important. And here's the catch. Balance is everything. It's a razor's edge. If you have too little sodium, a condition called hyponatremia, water rushes into your brain cells, and that causes all kinds of neurological problems like confusion or even seizures. But on the flip side, too much sodium or hypernatremia pulls water out of your cells, leading to dehydration, muscle twitching, and in the worst cases, even a coma. All right, on to our second star player, potassium. So if sodium is the volume controller for everything outside the cells, potassium is the master of the world inside the cells. You can think of it as the spark for our nerves and muscles. Potassium is absolutely vital for your heart and all of your muscles to work properly. It's the thing that creates what's called a resting potential in our nerves, that quiet, ready-to-go state right before they fire an electrical signal. Basically, without the right amount of potassium, our whole electrical system just goes haywire. And, you guessed it, just like sodium, the potassium scale is a dangerous one to tip. Too little potassium, hypokalemia, and you're looking at muscle weakness and an irregular pulse. But too much, hyperkalemia, is actually even more dangerous in the short term. It can slow the heart way down, cause confusion, and can even lead to sudden death. So that brings us to our final section. We've seen how elegant and smart this whole system is, but we also have to recognize that it's fragile. And when it fails, the consequences are incredibly serious. Just let that one sink in for a minute. We're not talking about just feeling a little bit parched here. A loss of just 1/5 of your body's total water can be fatal. That is how incredibly high the stakes of this balancing act really are. And this imbalance can cut both ways. We hear a lot about dehydration, which is water deprivation, but it is also possible, though it's much rarer, to suffer from water intoxication. That's when you drink so much plain water that you dilute your electrolytes down to dangerously low levels. Both are just different flavors of system failure. So here it is, the final cheat sheet. Let's recap the main players. Water is the stage where everything happens. Sodium is the volume controller, working its magic mostly outside the cells. And potassium is the nerve spark, the master of the universe inside the cells. And all together, they run the entire show. This entire incredibly complex system is working tirelessly for you, 24/7, without you even having to think about it, all to keep you alive. So the final question is pretty simple, really. Knowing all this now, how are you helping it do its job?